Howdy, folks. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. You don't know how much I thank God it's Friday, but no, I won't go into that. All right, we'll start with the pre-show. Go ahead, Russ.
All right. I have to say, you may or may not like what I'm going to say,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw last night late that the New York Yankees had come to it. First, I saw that Marcus Stroman had put a Yankee uniform on him on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, it was reported that he signed a 2-year deal
Mm-hmm.
with the club. And I got to admit, I'm surprised. I'm surprised only because of all the stuff he had done the last few years,
Mm-hmm.
and yet here we are.
Yeah. He's an asshole, and I don't like him. He's got an attitude. I mean, is he a good pitcher? Yes, he's been a good pitcher with the Mets. He's been a good pitcher with the Blue Jays, but he's an asshole, and he's always been that. And he's a troll on social media. And I don't like the signing, even if it's 2 years, even if it's budgetarily. I mean, I knew that the Blake Snell stuff was a sort of a red herring. Maybe it was out there, floated out there to get Stroman to take, to drop the option on the third year or something or whatever.
Yeah, because that's what he signed with the Cubs. It was 3 years, 71 million. Third year was an option, a club option. Of course, they dumped him, and that was for 23 a year. Like, he's taking a cut here.
Right, he's taking a cut, and I mean, does he have anything left? Apparently, like, he pitched really well. I think it was in the first half, and then he tailed off in the second half. So, I mean, this is the thing.
They were trying to make the playoffs.
Right. This is the thing. It's a situation where they spent big money, I think over $30 million on Rodon. That was a bust last year because he got hurt in spring training. They're paying Cole, who won the Cy Young, 36. They were not going to pay Snell over $30 million. They were not going to pay Jordan Montgomery, who they traded for Harrison Bader because he was the fifth starter for them. And then, then he went to St. Louis and he pitched well. And then he went to Texas and he won a World Series. But they weren't going to pay that guy $30 million. So this was a budgetary move and a short-term move. And I get it from that point. But like I said, he's an asshole. And I've said it 3 times, and fine. That just, illustrates the point.
Do you know what his ERA is in 11 starts at Yankee Stadium?
6.02. Yeah, exactly. That's what.
Look at that.
And that's another reason. It's like,
are they only going to pitch him on the road?
Yeah, no, I know. That's another reason why. It's like, and he is so unpopular with the fan base that ESPN New York did a poll, and it was 73% said no, don't sign him. So okay, he pitches his first bad game, he's going to get booed off. He's going to get booed off the mound.
Yeah, if they're smart, they start him on the road.
Well, I mean, they can't start him all the time on the road.
No, but I mean to start the season.
Oh yeah, but if he's probably going to do the double bird that Brian Cox did in Buffalo when he was a linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, because that's the type of guy he is. Now, he may try to clean up his image, but he's a what. I said 3 times. Maybe there's a limit that YouTube has on swearing, so
it could be. Yeah, let's not go over the limit.
I'll curtail it. Yeah. All right. Hello, Hockey World. Today is Friday, January 12th, 2024.
I'm Russ Cohen. I am not what Mike was talking about. From DraftBuzz.com.
Well, let me think about that for a minute. And I'm Michael Agello, and this is the Hockey Buzzcast here on HockeyBuzz.com. All right, we'll start with some news that sort of broke today, because it sounds like things trade-wise are starting to shake loose, at least rumor-wise. Rumor-wise. I don't know what trade actually
happen.
Yeah,
events coming up. They will talk at the All-Star game. All these GMs will talk there.
Yeah, eventually there'll be trades. But okay, the number one, Aaron Portzline reported that Elvis Merzlikins did not request a trade, but that he and Jarmo Kekalainen pretty much came to an agreement, a mutual agreement, that it's time for a change of scenery.
It's the same thing I've done here. It's like I didn't request a change of show to Eck, but I said, listen, if I could be on the Jeff Marek show, I do it. So that's really, it's the same thing.
Yes, just very, very close. But okay, but this is the problem. Elvis Merzlikins is not a good goaltender. At least he hasn't played like one in a few years. Last year had an .876 save percentage in 30 starts, 4.23 goals against. Previous year, .907. That's a little slightly above average. Before that, .916. His save percentage up until this year has gone down every single year. Now this year, with a bad Columbus team, 3.25 goals against, 23 games, .907 save percentage. That's slightly up. That's not terrible. But here's the issue. And I'm looking it up right now. I believe he has 2 more years left at $5 million. Nobody's taking him at that.
No, and Yarmo doesn't like to eat money.
Yeah. No one. Oh, excuse me. I'm slightly wrong. 3 more years at $5.4 million. Good luck.
Yeah, that would have to be like you're getting somebody back for the same money that the other team doesn't want. That's the only way it happens.
Now the funny thing was, Kevin Weeks, who usually knows something, but sometimes will not say what he knows until it's okay to say it. He put out a sort of a cryptic tweet today. He put a picture of Jakob Markstrom from the Calgary Flames and just put a wide open eye.
Yeah, but the way he was holding his stick was weird too, kind of like backwards, which is kind of like I'm
not over interpreting that.
No,
I'm just saying
I am. That's the way.
Okay, but whatever. But let's. But what I'm saying is,
I'm talking about Bigfoot. I'm just talking about a picture.
Right. It's just because he had his stick under his arm.
He used that picture for a reason. There's a million other pictures of Markstrom. Why did he use that one?
I don't know. He liked the color.
He liked the reference, the inference there.
Well, so anyway,
Randy agrees with me. Thank you.
Well, Randy, please, you're slipping if you're agreeing with Russ over me. But he then had the same open eye, but no stick tucked underneath for Elvis Merzlikins. So, are we talking a 1-for-1? Are we talking Merzlikins for Markstrom? I mean, I'm not creating a rumor here.
No, I don't think that would happen.
But the thing is, it's like, okay, well, consider this. I don't think Calgary, if they're trading Markstrom, they're trading him someplace that needs a goalie, and they're trading it for draft picks and prospects. Or they may have to eat money to get draft picks and prospects because he has 2 more years left at 6.
Yeah, just to answer Matt Boss, I don't think Weeks is doing this for clicks. He doesn't do stuff for clicks. He really doesn't.
No, he knows something, and he's just putting it out there, and he's, now he didn't do the, because that's when he normally
that's when it's a done deal.
Right. So
I mean, Esmer, you could be right. It could be New Jersey. It's possible.
Now the question is that if it is, and Ack said that he had heard something about New Jersey and Buffalo. I seriously doubt that it's Buffalo. I cover the Sabres. I've not heard anything about them trading for a goalie. They've got Luukkonen and Levi. They have about a 10% chance of making the playoffs. And in the span of the last 2 games, they lost Skinner for week to week, and Tage Thompson is having an MRI today, so we don't know what's going on with him. So they're not in a position. If anything, the Sabres could be sellers before March the 8th, but right now they're not going to add. Markstrom to New Jersey. Okay, let's say that that's the case. So I am assuming in that deal that either one of Akira Schmid or Vanacek are not going back to Calgary because Calgary has, they have Wolf and they have Vladar, and they don't need a goalie back. But they're going to have to trade something back in terms of salary because I don't know if they have the ability to take on $6 million in salary. So, I mean,
I don't know either. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot. It is.
yeah, I'm looking right now, doing it on the fly here. New Jersey has no cap space. They're in LTIR. They have about $420,000 in cap space. So that means they have to trade out $6 million.
Well, I mean, all right. So, yeah,
But
go ahead.
but they have not put Dougie Hamilton's not on IR. He's not on LTIR. He's on IR.
Right.
So they can move him to IR to LTIR if they think he's going to be out for the rest of the regular season.
Right. But that's only if they think that, because then he can't play in the playoffs either.
Well, no, he can come back after the end of the
after the regular season, because the LTIR runs out. Yeah.
Now, I know that Elliot Friedman said that his return time is around, it could be mid-March to late March, so they could hold him out for 2 weeks, and then, I mean, if they have a possibility of getting a goaltender and they have to finagle the cap.
Yeah, I don't know. Andrew's asking if Schmid's can go to the AHL. I don't know if he's out of options. Like if he goes, he could be claimed. I don't know.
He went. He's already in the American Hockey League. Remember Nico Dawes?
Oh, that's right. When Dawes came up, so there you go.
So yes, he had he was waiver exempt. So I mean, then it's a question of what Calgary is looking for in terms of a return, and we know New Jersey has young prospects, so
I mean they could move Holtz. There's a whole host of players they could move. Like I said, I watched Markstrom play the other day. He played a really good game, but, and this is the but, second period he gave up a couple goals, and he said, "Yeah, I'd like to get one of those back for sure." And I do kind of wonder if that's his sort of MO. Like he could play a 2-3 goal game, but if if it's a tight game and he gives it up at the wrong time, not great. Randy, unless you're smoking ayahuasca, there's no way a Hughes is going the other way in that deal. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll spend a little bit on the injury list here because it's lengthy. Starting with Anaheim.
Are you just going to read names?
Well, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Gee. Okay, Anaheim has gotten significant bad news in the last 3 or 4 days. First, Zegras breaks his ankle and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Pavel Menchukov, he's out. I think it was 6 weeks with a separated shoulder. And then last night, John Gibson gets hurt. And gee, we never heard that before. We'll start with Zegras because I know that there was some chatter, and I don't buy it, but there was some chatter about, him possibly being shopped in connection after they acquired Gauthier. But that
was all fan based, and it was created because Verbeek didn't like that Zegras held out on him. Then he came back, and then he got hurt right away, and now he's hurt again. That was all fan fiction.
Well, I mean that's really a situation where I mean if they were trying to trade him, let's just say this. He's not coming back probably until after the deadline.
Right.
And nobody is 6 to 8 weeks. The deadline's March the 8th, so we're talking, it's about around that time frame. I don't know if he's going to a team that's a contender simply because he's making close to 6, and they can't afford it cap wise. So it's a situation where I think if he's going to get dealt, which I still don't know if that's the case, it's probably a draft deal or a summer deal. It's probably not.
Yeah, nobody's taking him coming off a broken ankle. Let's start there. He's gotten hurt twice this year, and he missed time last year,
right? Correct.
Yeah. So nobody's doing that trade. Nobody.
Yeah,
and he hasn't really proved himself yet fully in the NHL. Like, why would someone give up like a first and a top prospect or first on a roster player for him when he hasn't really proved anything, and he's proved that he's injury prone. No, nobody's going to.
Now, actually, last year he played 81 games.
So last year he wasn't hurt.
The previous year he played 75, so he missed
I knew he missed something. Okay, it was the year before. And now this year he's missing significant time, but he also was a holdout. So again, if you're going to get him, know that in 2 years he might hold out on your team. And front offices know this. So again, who's jumping in to get him, where if you get him and all of a sudden, he holds out on you, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. As I have not heard any extent of Gibson's injury. We can only hope that it's nothing severe, but I mean, if it is something that is,
I haven't heard about it other than he's hurt.
Right. I mean, there has not been any kind of update from Anaheim at all. So, I mean, that's now. I heard last night that both Eichel and Mark Stone got hurt for Vegas. Again, no update. I don't know if it was got hurt and then came back in the game, or got hurt and they're out completely.
Yeah, I don't know. Same with Scheifele. We haven't heard.
Yeah,
he came out of the game, but we don't know anything more than that.
Yeah. But in terms of goaltenders, Kochetkov got hurt for Carolina last week, or last night, excuse me.
Yeah, that's a concussion.
That was a concussion. He's in concussion protocol, and Ronta came in for him. But they don't have we still don't know anything about Freddie Anderson. They didn't sign Halak. They didn't sign the former Sabre Aaron Dell. So I'm not sure who their third stringer is right now. So I mean, at this point, really, they're in desperate strait. So I mean, we know with the Leafs, Joseph Wall is hurt, and he's probably not going to be back until after the All-Star break. So the goaltending scenarios around the league are really difficult and really challenging.
Yeah. I think Sean Herman Weiss, since he played a goalie for the Ducks, is going to try out. That's what I hear.
Who is this again?
Sean Herman Weiss.
I don't know.
He was from the Mighty Ducks movie. He was the goalie in the Mighty Ducks.
Okay, movie. That explains it, because I never watched that piece of crap.
I don't know.
I saw like 15 minutes of that movie. It turned my stomach, and I turned it off. So I don't, whatever. Did they play the Flying V in Carolina, or whatever? But Jan, we were just talking about like all the injuries and all the rumors regarding. Thank you, Northern. I was going to get to that in a second, because I was at the Ottawa Buffalo game last night, and Anton Forsberg. Oh my God, Russ, he got hurt.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like a tree falling. Does anybody really notice if you don't hear it?
It's the injury ninja striking back like crazy. I mean, yesterday was bad. Was it Scheifele got hurt? Kochetkov got hurt. Forsberg got hurt.
Gibson got hurt.
Gibson left the game with an upper body injury.
We haven't heard if any of them are serious yet. Kochetkov is a concussion. He's the one serious.
Yeah, and you could and you watch the video. It did not look pretty based upon the speed he was going when he collided with Kochetkov. So,
right.
And obviously, we got Ullmark still out now with his look like probably a groin injury.
Yeah,
he's traveling with the team,
and that means Swayman will probably be, he'll be the number one. I'm not even sure who their third stringer is.
Oh, so here's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we did a preview, I know the Flyers play the Wild next, and Kaprizov, Brodin, and Gustafsson were all back out on the ice.
Yeah, they're supposed to both be back this week. I think Gustafsson and Kaprizov.
Yeah, so I don't know if they'll make
the rumor
that game
originally.
or not, but,
Well, okay, I know that they brought Wallstedt up,
right?
And
he got bombed in his first game. He gave up 7 goals.
7-2,
unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was against Dallas, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, which is a tough first NHL start. You're playing against a team that a lot of people think are the dark horse to get to the Stanley Cup final in the West. So I mean, they could have eased them in a little bit. But
I'll tell you, it'll be the Flyers' luck. They they announced they're going to do an 11-7 lineup, then all of a sudden Kaprizov's in.
Oh, but by the way, I wanted to touch on that, Russ, because the comment by John Tortorella regarding Jamie Drysdale said, well, okay, I'm just paraphrasing here. He says, well, he's not a defenseman, he's a rover.
Right.
And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense since John loves dogs so much, rover.
Mm-hmm. I get that, but we all also know that in the very early annals of hockey, there were plenty of rovers. The problem is when you have a rover, you still have to have defensemen that are really up to par to be able to cover for that. And, while the Flyers defense is doing well as a unit, they don't have rock solid defenders that could really allow for that. So I don't think that's a great idea because I don't think they're going to do it, in the third period of games unless they're coming from behind either. I don't think he'll do it for the entire game.
And one non-goalie injury also was Tage Thompson didn't finish the game yesterday. He left the game. He's scheduled to have an MRI today. Undisclosed, but scheduled for an MRI today.
He probably already had it. They just don't want to tell us.
Yep.
Who was this?
Tage Thompson.
Oh yeah, no. I was going to mention that because I was at the arena when. Yeah, they don't know. First of all, they didn't say upper body or lower body. They didn't specify. But Granato, in the media availability, did say that it's possible he could play tomorrow. So I mean, I'm sorry, you're having an MRI and there's a possibility you're going to play tomorrow.
Well, he left during the game and then came back, right? Were you able to see where it might have occurred or all at all?
No, he explained. Apparently, he left twice during the game yesterday. One was for stitches. Other time was for a broken skate lace. And then the third time he didn't come back, and that was for whatever injury.
Yeah, but they do this in baseball a lot, Mike. Precautionary MRIs.
Sure.
They say that we think he's going to play tomorrow, but he's getting a precautionary MRI. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah, and he was like, basically, knowing Tage Thompson, he'll tough it out, blah blah blah. Okay, this is a guy who's, I would be careful with a guy like this. You know what I'm saying? It's like
he's your future. Like for one game, I'm not going to risk it.
Right. Again, I don't know what the injury is. If it's a knee or whatever. Whatever. Who knows? No, I'm not going to speculate. But depending on what the situation is,
the good news is they can't score with him. They can't score without him. So whatever.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
Well,
tell me. Come on, Mike. You covered the team. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong, but the situation with them is 5-on-5. Apparently, their scoring is about the same as it was last year. It's the power play, which was top 6 or 7 in the league last year, and this year it's 28th. So the power play is killing them. And honestly, defensively, Luukkonen played fairly well yesterday, but I'm not going to get infused with a whole bunch of confidence because they beat the Ottawa Senators.
Really.
The Ottawa Senators blow. They're terrible.
The 67s might be able to beat the Senators. No offense.
And the funny thing is, the Ottawa Senators gave up 2 goals in quick succession to Thompson in the first period. They got Buffalo took a 4-1 lead into the third period and barely held on for the win. They got an empty netter with about 2 seconds left to go. So, they needed 2 points. But they shouldn't hurt their shoulder patting themselves on the back because Ottawa stinks. Now tomorrow afternoon they play Vancouver, and they'll play Vancouver without Skinner, with potentially without Thompson. Here's
something I want to address in the chat room real quick. Andrew says Tort's getting tired of the Philly media. He's not getting tired of the Philly media. He's always a little abrasive, obviously. But the point is, there are a lot of opinions that go on all the time in the Philly media, whether it's on shows like this. I do a show called Locked On Flyers. There's a lot of opinions all the time. The Flyers are really good about understanding. We had Dan Hilferty on our show, and he even talked about, hey, I watch your show, and, there's I like the fact that, there's some criticism. There's, you're looking at things deeply and stuff. And so they do respect that. And I think to a certain degree, he respects it too. It's just, if he hears something that he knows is sort of outlandish, he's gonna bark back, and that's what happened with the Kevin Hayes stuff, and I don't blame him. I mean, Kevin Hayes complained about it in an interview, was already affecting him, and so that's why he was tired of stuff. He doesn't want stuff like that. So if he hears stuff like that, he's gonna he's gonna say something, and that's fine. It's his right.
So last night, the Maple Leafs played the Islanders for the second time in a month in that the friendly confines of the UBS Arena in Queens.
Elmont, New York, Mike. Elmont, New York.
Yeah, it's Elmont.
I thought it was
Elmont,
Queens.
New York.
No.
Elmont,
Queens,
New York.
Right. So here's a quick thing. This is always a fun thing. My wife and I have
because Queens is part of Long Island,
right? But it's not really. But it's true. No, it's true though. So like if you look on a map, it is. And my wife is from Queens, and so we've had this discussion for many a year. And technically, it is Long Island, but it doesn't count because of where districting is on the map and everything else. So that's why. So it's Elmont, Mike. And if you say Queens, then you got a guy like Jan that's going to say no, it's not. And Jan's right.
They're 15 minutes from there. What do you expect?
I know.
I can show you the Newsday.
Jan lives if you want to know. No, I'm kidding.
UBS is next to the border of Queens. Is that true?
Right on the Queens. Right on the it's on the. It's right
okay,
on the
so cut me some slack for Christ's sake.
I was kidding with you. Holy criminy! Take a chill.
I'm having a bad day. No, so
only a bad day.
So 1 month ago, on December 11th, the Leafs lost 4-3 in overtime. And on January 11th, they lost 4-3 in overtime. Gee, what was familiar? Now, and ironically, in both games, the duo of Barzal and Noah Dobson, who's having a really good year right now, combined on the game-winning goal. Last month it was Horvat. This month it was a deflection by Barzal. Leaf fans can't complain. They're 4-0-1 in their last 5 games. Martin Jones has a 931 save percentage, something like that. But this weekend is going to be where things are going to get interesting because they play 2 home games against Colorado and Detroit. One of those games is going to have to be played by somebody other than Martin Jones, and they did bring up Ilya Samsonov back up from the AHL. Now the question here is, did they send Hildeby down to play a game in the AHL to get a game because he hadn't played in 2 weeks, or are they actually going to play Samsonov? And I'm telling you right now, Russ, if they play Samsonov and he gives up a bad goal, Leaf fans are going to boo him. And he is so fragile mentally right now in terms of not in life crisis, but I mean, just as a goaltender. I mean, he hasn't played well all season. He's maybe played 4 or 5 decent starts. If he gives up a few bad goals and the fans turn on him, they can never put him back in goal again.
Well, you can't say never. I understand what you're saying, but even if he gets booed, they may have to put him in that even beyond this game. Like, no,
I'm saying that they'll go. I think they'll then go to Hildeby until because now
maybe. I mean, sometimes they don't, Mike. I mean, sometimes the goaltending coach goes, "Look, you're throwing this guy in. It's not advisable." And then you know what? Samsonov's getting paid. If he gets booed every minute he's in net, they may have to start him, another game down the road. But
if he's costing them points, no, they don't. And that's
what I mean. It's easy for you to say, but you can't ruin your other goalies just because this guy's not playing well.
Okay, I'm not saying ruin your other goalies, and I'm right now. After this weekend, they have 1 back-to-back until the All-Star break. That's the following weekend, so they can play Dennis Hildeby 1 game in the NHL. It's not going to ruin. And then, you're going to be playing Martin Jones, regularly until the All-Star break. And then, either you're picking up somebody off of waivers if Wall's not ready. They're not going to rush Wall back. I mean, that would be the worst thing because if they rush him back and he gets re-injured, then they're really screwed.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying, I hope that Samsonov has sort of gathered himself and, he can play at least passable. I mean, we know when Wall gets back, it's probably going to be Wall and Jones, and Samsonov is probably going to get waived again. They can't keep 3 goaltenders because they can't afford to cap wise. So I think right now Samsonov is a stopgap to get back to Joseph Wall, and that you could say that's not a great situation for the Leafs, but that's the reality right now.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a reality. Look, they only need to worry about getting it straightened out like the last month of the season. That's really the thing, and they'll know by then if Wall's up to finishing out the season or not. If he's not, then guess who's going to be looking for a goalie at the trade deadline? It'll be the Leafs.
Well, I mean, that's nice, but they can't afford one.
Well, I mean, all right. So this could happen, Mike. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
If Wall comes back, he's not quite right, and he can't finish out the season.
Right.
You think they're going to go with Samsonov and Hildeby for the rest of the year, playoffs wise too? When they go?
No, I think they're going to go with Martin Jones.
Martin Jones. They're going to go with Martin Jones in the playoffs. You think that?
Wow. I think that they won't have much of a choice.
Well, he had one good run years ago, Russ.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
I think there's other options.
Say it was recent.
I think a GM. I think a GM could do more. And again, if you think I've been hard on Treliving before, wait until that one if the playoffs start, Martin Jones is the goalie.
Russ, they're using the fact that they have very limited assets as a potential excuse for them not going out and trading for a defenseman. That's not
what I heard. I heard a soundbite from Treliving said we don't have a lot of money to spend, but we'll be able to make moves. That's what I heard him say on Sirius XM.
Right. They have a lot. They don't have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of assets. That's what limit.
He talks a good game, so we're going to see. I mean, again, if they go into the first round, no matter what the situation is, and they get bounced, fans are still going to be mad, and nobody's going to give him a pass. Tell me somebody who's a Leaf fan that's going to give him a pass. Nobody.
Well, Butch Goring definitely isn't going to.
Really?
No.
We'll start with that?
No. I just, you saw what I wrote in our chat, and I stick by that. Okay, so let's just touch on the standings. Maybe we'll take a couple questions.
DMB is right. By the way, Yzerman signed Alex Lyon for 2 years and $950 was brilliant because he read the goaltending market, he spoke to his people, and they said, he's a guy that could start if he really had to, but really isn't a starter, but he's pretty good. Smart.
Yeah, no,
and he's still not going to get them in the playoffs, but it's still smart to have him.
He got Florida in the playoffs. It was smart to have him as a 3 in case. Well, I mean, Husso has not played well, and Reimer is Reimer.
Reimer's eventually going to turn into Reimer.
Yeah, Reimer's Reimer. So, all right, let's just look at this at the standings here. Because right now the Bruins, it's a very tight race in the Atlantic with the Bruins at 56 points and Florida at 54. Now I did see some stuff reported about Sam Reinhart and him now with Nylander being signed, him being like the number one pending UFA. Obviously they're not going to trade Reinhart because he's having a career year. He's 3 goals behind now. Austin Matthews, he's got 30 goals on the season. But in speculating of what they're going to have to pay him, Russ, they're talking about
he's on 30 games, 30 goals in 41 games. My God. I mean, even if you were a Sam Reinhart fan, you couldn't have expected this.
No. And the problem here is he's doing it at the absolute right time, and like Nylander, they're going to get taken to the cleaners.
No, they will. Florida will trade him.
No, they won't trade him.
They will.
I don't think they will.
They will. They've traded other guys when the price has been too high. Who's the highest paid guy on the team besides Bob?
Kachuk.
But that's because he's Kachuk,
right?
And because of the other things he does. Reinhardt's not Kachuk. Are they going to give Sam Reinhart $10 million, the same as Kachuk? No.
Well, they won't give him more than Kachuk. It's a question of whether Reinhart would take. And remember, Florida, no state tax. Kachuk
is aware, thanks to you.
Yes. Well, okay. Barkov is making 10, and Kachuk is making 9.5.
Right. So that's the limit. 10's the limit. And
no, 9.5's the limit.
Okay, 9.5's the limit. He's making 6.5. There's probably a team out there that would pay him 10.
Yeah, but 10 someplace else is not.
I get it, but I'm just saying I don't think they're going to offer 9.5. They're going to say here's 9, which would be 10 somewhere else.
I mean, you're probably right, but he's going to have to get
9. Hey, great. I just even there, I don't know if he's taking 9. He's going to probably say, and this is what a lot of players do, I took less last time. I'm not doing it again.
Well, I think he's still on. No, that's right. He did. He was traded with a year left from the Sabres, so that he signed an extension with them.
Right.
I mean, could you see in the summer a buyout of Bobrovsky?
No, they won't do it.
Before last year, I would have said that was very possible, but he's played really well.
And enough to keep him and not worry about the headache of that money. They've already got enough cap problems, and they're having a great year again. So I don't think they can do it.
Could they trade Spencer Knight?
I mean, they could. I don't think they want to. I still think, and they think he's their future. Whether that changes, that anything could happen.
I mean, I think they would like to keep Reinhart, but it's going to be tough. But I think they have the advantage that in terms of they can pay him less than other teams can pay him, and he gets more of that because of the state tax.
Sure, but just to answer Randy, I don't think he would take 8.5 regardless of the deal in Florida.
No, I think they would have to come as close to Kachuk as possible without going over.
He's gonna score 50 goals.
I know, but is he a 50-goal scorer?
But it doesn't matter. That's the point.
He fits perfectly with Barkov. He fits perfectly with that team. They're gonna. I think they've already supposedly started discussions already. Supposedly was what I seen somewhere. I mean, I think it's almost. I'd be shocked if he doesn't resign there.
I wouldn't be shocked. I think they're trying to do that, Jan, because the minute he gets the 50, they can't afford him anymore. So I think that's why they're trying to do it now.
See,
I think they'll end up with somewhere between 9 and 10 is where they'll go with him.
I don't think they'll trade him, Russ. I think they'll own rental.
No, they won't trade him.
Yeah,
they won't trade him. They will just own rental him.
Just like Toronto. Yeah. Just like Toronto wouldn't have traded Nylander after the beginning of the season. So right now in the Atlantic, you've got Boston.
Thomas has a good point. So Verhaeghe's only signed through 24-25.
And Montour is a free agent after
They're
this year.
They're not going to be able to sign them all, Mike. They're not.
I know, but they have a lot of money coming off the cap.
Okay.
Right now, like for next year, they've got almost $30 million in cap space. So, but let's see here. Montour's a free agent. Forsling's a free agent. Ekman Larsson's a free agent.
Yeah, he'll go.
Let's see. And Reinhart and Lomborg. Yeah, I mean, a couple of them they can get away with. I mean,
but after Reinhart and Verhaeghe the year after,
and so is Ekblad.
Yeah, I could see Reinhart not coming back.
I'll tell you something right now, Russ. I'm not paying Ekblad with all the injuries that he's had. I'm not paying him $7.5 million ever again. He's not that defensive. He's not that defenseman.
I give him 6 for 3 years.
Yeah, he's not that defenseman anymore. They
he's still really good, but I mean,
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying
he can't stay on the ice.
Yeah,
he just can't stay on the ice, which is the problem.
Yeah, it's a big deal, no question about it. But again, with this situation, yeah, he's not getting traded. But again, he could price himself out of that market because what if he gets 50 goals and 100 points?
Yeah. Then, like I said, he'll get overpaid like Nylander did.
There was a guy who had 110 points there once. Where's he now?
Oh, Olli Jokinen?
No, Huberdeau.
Oh, well. Yeah,
Replaced
and
by Kachuk.
maybe that's a cautionary tale, Russ. It's like he went for the big money, or
he doesn't care though. He's still got the big
Well,
money.
wait. First of all, I think part of it was them changing the environment and the culture on that team and bringing in a guy who's got a bit more grit and sandpaper after they lost the playoffs. I mean, that was probably the bigger part of the story. Then he asked for too much money.
Okay, but I mean, Reinhardt's going to ask for too much money too.
We don't know what he's asking for yet.
Right.
I don't think he's asking for Nylander
He's
money.
not asking for anything under 8, no matter whether you live in Florida or not.
And that amount is probably reasonable.
What Bill Zito
would laugh at 8.
What Bill Zito will do, Russ, is that he will use the attractive qualities of staying in
but it doesn't
Florida.
matter. I mean, again,
yes, it does. It does.
These
players, Russ, what do you think's a fair amount?
I think a fair amount is 9.5, even in Florida money. And I don't know if they'll do it. He'll be making the same as Barkov then.
No, 10.
And
Barkov.
That's like 10. He'll be making Kachuk money.
That's like 10.5 then elsewhere based upon the state tax.
Right. He'll be making Kachuk money. Yeah.
Okay. In the Metro right now, the Rangers are leading the Carolina Hurricanes by 3 points, 54-51. The Islanders are at 48. Now the Rangers, Jan,
Cue
I mean,
Tom
they've
Petty.
struggled.
Cue Tom Petty right now. Cue the Tom Petty song.
What, won't back down?
Free falling. Oh. 3 in a row, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 7.
I mean, it's their defense.
Yeah, well, don't only blame the defense. It's not only the blue line. It's you want to tell them defense whole overall. They don't stop anybody off the rush.
No,
they don't
I get
pick
it,
up
but it's
the trailer.
But that is defense.
Okay, defense, not the blue line. Defense overall, yes.
No, it's all of it though. The blue line's not right either.
No, blue line hasn't played well, but the forwards aren't doing a good job either. And Igor's been brutal. Igor's been horrific lately.
Well, again, I think we're learning that, hey, Igor's a terrific goalie, but like any other goalie, he's got to have the right defensive people in front of him doing the right things, or he's susceptible like anybody else.
Well, that blue line ain't changing yesterday, although he did mix and match guys. He split up the Trouba Miller pairing yesterday. Right. He split up the Lindgren Fox pairing yesterday. It was the Gustafsson pairing got split up. The other got split up yesterday.
Fox, you should never mix up. There's no point in ever mixing that up. Those guys know each other too well. They're proven. You leave those two alone.
Fox actually played better lately. His last 2 games have been his best 2 games since he came back from injury.
I have a suggestion for Gustafsson.
It's a family show, so keep it clean, Mike.
Be in the bench, or be in the press box.
Gustafsson, he'd be like, he's a rover, and it's like, but that's not what the Rangers need, because Fox does some roving too. So taking Gustafsson out of the lineup at some point might have to be what happens, Jan, because even though he was giving them offense that they sort of needed early in the year, when things start tightening up, they may find out he's the wrong guy to have in there.
And honestly, they called Robertson up and sent him back down, and they don't seem to have a lot of confidence in Jones. I have a feeling you're going to see Matthew Robertson, or I have a feeling you're going to see Mac Hollowell, who I know Michael doesn't particularly love either because he's an ex-Toronto guy.
No,
he's played well in Hartford, and he actually played well this season.
I have nothing against Mac Hollowell. I mean, he's a right-hand shot defenseman. He's small. He's pretty mobile. He had a cup of coffee with the Leafs. I mean, I think they thought he was limited because of his size, and they had enough small defensemen. But I mean, I hope I'd like to see him have some success in the NHL.
He should get a shot up there, because honestly, you could move Schneider to the other side because he's a lefty and play Hollowell on the right side and see if it's a better fitting. But I mean, this is where I know, look, Kakko's not scoring, but he makes a huge difference defensively on that first line, which is what they need. And he lengthens the lineup, because right now that bottom 6, other than VC, has been woof bad, but you can put Cooley back there.
Again, we talked about this. I didn't like the signing of Bonino, because Bonino's too long in the tooth. He's played too many hard miles. So that was going to be a problem. They had to have known, or at least Drury had to have known, that the bottom 6 could be a problem, even with the guys he signed.
Well, you're missing Pitlick also, which hasn't helped because Pitlick was actually playing
he never stays healthy, never.
Right, but again, but it's this is one of those areas, as we've discussed, right? You can reinforce a bottom six at the trade deadline without spending an inordinate amount in terms of acquisition costs to get guys like that.
And you can
look, can we just be honest about something too? Because he did play defense. The loss to Hedl is greater than what anybody really wants to admit.
I've been saying it for. I've said it.
No, I don't mean you. I just mean out there when they talk about the Rangers. Nobody talks about Philip Hedl anymore because he's done for now, and he did play a good all-around rugged game. Like
he was and that third line would have been a really good third line with him and Cooley and whoever else they put on that opposite wing. If it had been Wheeler was playing actually decently there, not great, but he was fine for what it was. So it is a big loss. But look, the Carolina, depending on their goaltending, is the team that probably should win the Metro. Jersey's just got no goaltending at all, right? Vanacek has been horrible, right? They're going with Nico Dawes right now because they need to try something because Akira Schmid was so bad they sent him down, and they're missing Hamilton, which is a huge loss. And Hughes and Nemec is not particularly great so far yet defensively, especially Hughes.
No,
and they've lost Jack Hughes again, which you have to start questioning his ability to stay healthy because every year he has some kind of an injury that shortens his season.
Sure, but you know what? Even a shortened season for Jack Hughes is like 90 points.
I agree with you, but
85, 90 points. Like
he has to be healthy come playoff time. Look, if he's healthy come playoff,
he hasn't missed the playoffs yet.
No, you're right.
So,
well, I mean, okay, if all else fails, how about you get somebody to protect him?
They've tried that.
He's only getting hurt from being
thought of that.
The injuries are not because he's getting basically blindsided. No. I mean, most injuries are not because of that. If it's one thing, if guys were taking liberties with him, I'd say yes. I don't think that's the case with the injuries.
No, it's because he skates in the dirty areas and he's always got the puck and he is a risk. But Mike, nobody is going to be able to get people to stay away from him when he's got the puck 60% of the time. It's not going to happen.
Well, maybe my mentality is 1970s or 1980s.
It's like,
no, but if you
have Ryan Reeves, is he going to prevent Mitch Marner from getting hurt, Mike? I mean, come on. If somebody took a shot at Mitch Marner, is Ryan Reeves really going to stop it?
Nobody took a shot at Mitch Marner because nobody could catch Mitch Marner.
Papa Jello with the Canes, like, remember what happened to Dale Rolfe? Remember, nobody came to Dale Rolfe to his aid.
Yeah, we saw what happened there.
Hey, there you go. There it was. There it was. I told you it's this friggin' computer.
Mike, right. And then they did the Tom Wilson exaggeration after that.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Right, it's not going to help, Mike. It's not going to make a difference. But New Jersey has to improve their defense, and they've talked to Markstrom. Right? I mean, again, depending on the rumors you believe, they have to get somebody. There's enough goaltenders that are going to be available. They need to make a move and get somebody.
Okay, so the Philadelphia Flyers are tied with the Islanders at 48 points, and Tampa Bay has now moved into the second wild card at 47. And
I would say on the sly too, right? They kind of did this very quietly, I think.
Yeah, and and in an unusual way for them because they've given up 148 goals against, which that's Jonas Johansson mostly, but Vasilevsky has not been pure Vasilevsky yet. But if tell me the team that wants to face them if they're in the playoffs, nobody.
But depth-wise, they don't have the depth they had before, and that's where their upper end talent is tremendous. Where they're going to get beat is if they can't figure a way to bolster those last two lines and that third pair defense, because honestly, it's not good right now. And that's with all the guys they've lost.
Here's the kind of matchup they want. Tampa wants to match up with a team that they think they could beat in a shorter series because, like, let's say they match up against Carolina. Carolina's ready for a 7-game series. Tampa's not. They're just not.
They also don't want a team that's going to basically pound on them, right? They don't want to, right? So notice Tampa Boston is a bad matchup for them because Boston's strategy is to keep going to get dumped the puck and hit and dump the puck and hit, and that's not what Tampa's good at.
I think Tampa and the Rangers would be a bad matchup too because the Rangers would do the same thing.
Yeah, the Leafs would be a good matchup. I mean, I'm not saying
but the Leafs are in third place. There's no way they're going to play. okay, then for Sabre fans, here's the bad news, because Tampa's at 47, Buffalo's at 40. There are 5 teams in between them. All of them have games in hand, and New Jersey and Pittsburgh and Detroit all have 45. So they're all 2 points behind Tampa. So, I mean, I think I looked it up on Money Puck. Buffalo's chances of making the playoffs are about 11%. So not good.
What are those chances?
And their goaltending is wolf bad these days, Mike, still.
Oh, the Sabres? Yeah, it's inconsistent. Luukkonen actually played pretty decently yesterday, but and they're supposedly going to start him against Vancouver. So here's your reward.
You didn't like that joke, I guess.
No. Here's your reward for playing decent against one of the worst teams in the league. You're going to get the next start against the best team in the league. Well, thank you very much. Okay, in the West, Winnipeg is at 60, leading the league, which is still blows my mind. Colorado at 57 and Dallas at 53.
Dallas has been dropping lately, though.
Yeah, but Dallas has a reason, because Ottinger's been out. They've been doing it with Matt Murray, not that Matt Murray, but Matt Murray and Scott Wedgwood. So, if they get Ottinger back, I think they should be fine. Vancouver at 59, Vegas at 53, LA. The team that's dropped off right now has been LA. They've been struggling big time.
Yeah, LA's really been struggling. You're right.
That's surprising. Unfortunately, there is a 3-way tie for the 2 wild card spots.
We have an update, Mike. Scheifele is just day-to-day with an LBI, so he may even still play against the Flyers.
That's good news for them. Unfortunately, there's a 3-way tie for the wild card, and one of the teams tied for the wild card is the Edmonton Oilers, but I still believe they're going to miss the playoffs. Nashville and
hold on. I mean, honestly, though, do you think that, or are you just saying that to stay on brand?
I think that.
Okay, because right now I'm 50-50. I think there's a good chance they could make the playoffs. I do. I'm not ready to go over on the other side yet, because I haven't seen their latest losing streak. Like, it's gonna happen.
I mean, they've won 9 in a row,
right?
And they've won 9 in a row, and they're tied for the last playoff spot,
which shows you just how bad their start was and how. But look at how Skinner's played. I mean,
I know, Jan. But what I'm saying is they're not as good as the record. They're not as bad as the record was early, and they're not as good as the record is now. So they're bound to have a losing streak, and when they do have that losing streak, then they'll fall out of a playoff spot.
Well, it depends on how you're defining a losing streak, right? You're talking losing 5 in a row, or you're talking win 1, lose 2, win 2, lose. I mean, if they hover in the same range they're at, they're at least they put themselves in a position where they can make a run late if they have to.
And as the dirty lawyer Michael Cohen in the chat says, Seattle is also red hot. They've won 8 in a row.
8 in a row.
Breaking news.
What's that?
Literally and figuratively.
I didn't say this pregame, so I'm going to say it now. I missed this. I didn't realize the Mets signed Alonso to his arbitration number was 20.5.
Yeah, 1 year, $20.5 million.
That's it.
Pay attention, Russ.
No, but that's it. That's bad news, because
you knew that's all they were going.
No, but they should have re-signed him before the arbitration.
Welcome to Mets talk.
They did not go to arbitration. He was signed before arbitration. He's not one of the players that are going to arbitration.
Yeah, they signed him to a
1-year deal, though.
They signed him to his qualifying offer. To his qualifying offer.
Right. Fine. That's not the way you do it. They should have sign him. He's not re-signing with them. That's all. Go ahead. Move on. He's not.
This will be another 12-month argument between me and Russ.
It's not a 12-month argument. You'll see by July he'll be gone.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, keep quiet. The guys get to watch Marcus Stroman now. The man
I was just
so keep quiet over there, Mike.
Jan, you missed it. I called him an asshole 3 times at the beginning of the show. And
now we're going to get an E next to the broadcast because you had to open your mouth there.
That's right. I said it 4 times now. Right there. Edmonton, Nashville, and Seattle all at 45. St. Louis at 43. Same with Calgary. Arizona at 42, and then it drops off to Minnesota at 38. I mean, Minnesota is as far behind the second wild card spot as Buffalo is, which means their chances are slim to none. I don't think Arizona is. I mean, honestly, the only of the two teams that are outside of the wild card, the only one I think has a chance to move up might be St. Louis, and I think St. Louis is flawed. So
they are flawed, but they'll make a move at the deadline. And Binnington's having a pretty good year, and the other guys are back. Like Thomas is back, Kyrie's back, Shen's starting to pick it up. He was, and this is Braden, the new captain. He has picked it up lately. So I think there's a chance, but this is their last gasp. I don't think they're going far in the playoffs.
Right. So, Russ, do you want to touch on, because of NHL draftbuzz.com, do you want to touch on the Celebrini being the top rated prospect according to the Central Scouting and
give me the top 5 if you can pull their list up.
Okay, well,
I'll be happy to chat about that.
Yeah.
And people can go to my site and see, my top 5. That's fine.
Yeah, I do know
that's only the first one for both of us, right? So
I do know that there was some surprise that Yzerman was way down on the list.
Right. So I'm happy to address that because I'll see him next Saturday play this Saturday.
Okay. It was Central Scouting, Celebrini. Sorry, it's in small font here. Levshunov, Artem Levshunov, Michigan State, Caden Lindstrom, Medicine Hat, Zeev Boom, thank you, and Trevor Connolly are the top 5.
Right. Okay. So let's chat. So, I like Trevor Connolly a lot. I probably was the first one to write about him this year. I can't have him that high. I have him at 14 to start because I think he's having a really good year, and I like the player. He could move up on my list. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like he needs to show me more. Obviously, Zeev showed a lot in the World Junior, so he broke my top 10, but I still have him at 9. I still think they're a little overly aggressive. Where they're really getting it wrong is to not have Demidov as the top guy. Like, obviously, they have him as the number 2, right, behind Helenius for the European. And look, I like Konsta Helenius. I really, really do. But Demidov's proving things at the, he's hurt for a little while, and he still might be hurt, proving things at the KHL level. Helenius had a nice World Junior. He wasn't a world beater, but I do think, and I've had this conversation, I think there's a chance he could be a center. Now, if he's a center, okay, we can have a different conversation. I still have Cole Yzerman 3rd, and it's not out of stubbornness. It's out of just his straight skating and offensive ability that is off the charts. Now, if you don't like his play away from the puck, don't draft him. If you think that he's not giving you what you want, don't draft him. But this guy's going to score, and he's going to score in the NHL too. So there are guys that just sometimes in that all-around game don't match up in their draft year, and I think he's paying for that. But again, go look at his goal totals. I mean, I've watched this guy. He could score from a million places on the ice. He could do it on the penalty kill. He could do it on the power play. He could do it on the first line. He could do it on the fourth line. I get it. It's just people are nitpicking over the play away from the puck. But if you look at his numbers, he's already got 30 goals just with the program. So, come on.
Yeah.
It's 30 goals in 29 games with the program.
International listing, just to finish out here. Helenius is number 1. Silyev is number 2.
Oh, Silyev's 2, not Demidov.
Demidov is 3.
Wow.
Adam Juracek is 4. And Emil Hemming is 5.
I would argue with that because I like Jesse Pulkkinen, the big defenseman. I put him in my top 10. He's 6'7". He hits like a ton of bricks. Okay, so Jay said Demidov's back in the MHL. That's fine, but you watch what Demidov can do on the ice, and tell me you wouldn't put him ahead of Helenius. Like, that to me is a little silly.
Pulkkinen is 15th.
Yeah, they're not getting it right. They're not. I'm sorry. I do think G Boom is better than Shy Boom. Yeah, I do. And Shy's a pretty good player. But yeah, I just think I think some of these, it's early on. They'll get more views. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I'm going to see Eiserman again. And again, I mean, people could just go watch video of this kid. It's just, and he always comes through. That's the whole thing here. It's not like he's just like, oh, well, he scores goals because he's on an all-star team. No, he scores goals no matter what. He's been scoring goals his whole life. Like, that's the whole thing. He's just, and like I said, just with the NTDP, he's got 4 game-winning goals, averaging 1.76 points per game. So, okay. I like Lidstrom a lot. I have him 4, and Lashunov, I have 7. I think there's some things he could work on. He is 6'2". He's almost a point a game in college, which is great. He's with UConn. But there's still some things I want to see out of him. He's going to probably move up on my list, but I just, not 100% on that. But at any rate, it's good to see the lists out. I actually beat him by a couple weeks. Or a week rather. I'm surprised. And I'm surprised. Remember, like, I have Connolly 14. They have Connolly like what, 5 or 6?
5.
5, which means they think he's a top 10 guy. He's going to have to prove it to me to be a top 10 guy. And I saw a lot of him early in the year, and I interviewed him, and I am impressed with him. He's going to go to Providence, but I'm just looking at his point total, like, as of
Nothing.
Oh, his point total as of today is 35 points in 25 games, 11 goals, and that's really good. Like, if he keeps that pace for the whole year, maybe I'll reconsider. But also, is he going to be a center? Like, that's the whole thing. He's a left wing. I think when I spoke to him, he could play center, but he's playing left wing. So as a left wing, I don't know. We'll see. But somewhere between 10 and 14 is probably where he's going to go in this draft.
All right. We shall be back on Monday with another edition of the Hockey Buzzcast. I'll tell you that right now that it looks like it's going to be blizzard conditions in Western New York for the Pittsburgh Steelers-Bills game on Sunday. They've already started doing the winter storm warning things on the TV, and the NYSEG is calling the house to tell us that, well, there could be power outages and high winds.
Yeah, I'm driving tomorrow, and I'm driving to Michigan, but I'm going nowhere near you. I'm going the other way.
You're going through. Well, are you going around the lake?
No.
You're going through Canada.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, no, I'm going to go around the lake, but I'm going to be just on the turnpikes. I don't think I'm going to. They're only getting 1 to 3 inches in Plymouth. Well, and they're not getting anything in Pittsburgh, and Ohio doesn't look like it's getting anything either.
No, I've heard Ohio, because that's where the storm is coming from. It's coming from the Midwest. So,
yeah, Ohio, if you look at, I mean, we'll chat after. But anyhow, I don't think they're getting much.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if I'm in a good mood on Monday, and that never happens. For the departed Jan Levine, for Russ Cohen, I'm Michael Agello. Thank you for watching, and remember, without the buzz, it's just hockey.